Subscribe or you'll be visited by the toll troll. I make $80K a year selling used appliance parts out of my garage. Ask me anything. Where do you get them? I buy used/broken appliances and break them down. Primarily, I buy them from scrappers by the truckload. Then they take away the leftover scrap metal. I never have to leave the house. Interesting. Are they worth shipping? Is it $80K pure profit? How many transactions do you average a year? Where do you sell the parts? $80K pure profit, roughly 6,500 transactions, around $170K in sales. eBay takes their cut. That was last year. This year is showing to be about the same. Some parts are only worth $10, some are worth over $100. All are worth scavenging. I treat these machines like buffalo. Where do you sell the parts? eBay, mostly. I have my own site, but it accounts for less than 2% of my sales. I keep it around because it's low maintenance and I make a little more due to lack of eBay fees. Based. Where do you store all of them? In the garage and in the attic. Then you repair them? Why don't the scrappers just send you all crappy ones? Then they get your cash and get the scrap metal back. No, I break them down. Even if they are already still working, it's more profitable to break them down than resell them. Even the crappy ones have lots of valuable parts. Older ones have these gear cases that sell for good money, plus the timer module. Those combined are about $200. And most of the scrappers don't want to, or are unable to, deal with storing these machines and selling them. So I give them a bit above scrapyard value plus some scrap metal and they stay loyal. And there's this one guy who seethes because I'm his competition. He fixes and sells the washers. But all the scrappers in the area prefer to sell to me because he's flaky as heck. How do you scale? Hard to say about scalability. I think it could scale, but if I tried to scale, my profits would get a lot worse before they got better. I guess competition isn't so bad because the money's good. I just keep my SKUs on point and my workstations organized. It's just me working for me and I probably could make a bigger business out of it, but I'd have to rent a warehouse and all that crap. I'm happy where I am with minimal overhead and good profit. Getting ready to buy my first rental property. On track to retire at 40. The dream. So long as our financial system doesn't collapse anyway. Making money. Saving the environment from more scrapped appliances. Extremely based, nice job. Where do you learn how to break the parts down? Been thinking about doing something along the lines of this since I live close to a scrapyard. Do you attempt to find a machine before stripping it for parts to avoid selling a faulty part? I do the same other electronic goods, but I find this part to be time consuming. When in doubt, I just take wire connectors off and take screws out until it all falls apart. I'm rarely in doubt anymore though. No, I have a good return policy and I find it's not worth the time. Oftentimes they don't even bother sending it back anyway. Master of the apology, that's me. I do test the parts when it's easy to do so with a multimeter and whatnot. So I catch a good chunk of the defective parts before they go onto the shelf. Is all the work worth it? Sounds like a lot of work. About a 40-hour work week. I don't understand how this is possible out of a garage. I sell small industrial parts and storage is one of the most valuable resource a business can have. What you say makes no sense unless your garage is 1,000 square feet. Also, how often do you go to the dump? Thanks for the info, we're almost in the same industry. I've sold some of these parts before, but I don't break things down. Storage would be impossible. I don't believe this because Americans cannot fix appliances. If something happens to an appliance, it is replaced. Most areas don't have any appliance service companies beyond manufacturer direct repair services, which consists of a single service repair guy for an entire state at best, if service repairs are even being scheduled at all. So based. How do you source parts for old equipment? Do you just fix the broken bits or do a full refurbish? Just go to eBay sold listings. Tons of people try to fix their stuff. They buy some junky, poorly tested junk part like from OP, swap it out, doesn't work. I've bought used HVAC parts, another huge market and certainly a liability waiting to happen. Who buys all these parts? I imagine today's society washers aren't repaired that often but rather thrown away and a new one bought. Are those parts used elsewhere? A mix of independent repair contractors and DIYers. More than 20% of my parts actually go to Puerto Rico. No one else wants to ship there, and I guess they're a lot more repair-centric. How many hours from the idea to your first revenue day? How many hours from your first revenue day to your first profitable day? That's interesting. Does it cost more for you to ship to them, or other sellers just don't want to deal with non-domestic shipping? It costs more to ship there, but it's easy enough to pass that cost on to the buyer. Any recommendations for washing machines? I've been looking at Speed Queens and avoiding Samsung. I made 200K sales and 120K profit last year on eBay just by stripping parts off of cars at the pick and pull and listing them online. Nice. I think a lot of places wised up to this though, as they don't let you pull your own parts anymore. I hope you saved receipts on every purchase and sale. IRS is going to screw you hard using their new laws. I always wondered, what's the scavenger economy like in the West? It's extremely huge in Africa and Southeast Asia, so there's a large amount of competition in the markets overall, driving prices down. So my questions boil down to these two. Is it the same in the West, specifically relating to competition? And is this feasible to scale? What's the Toyota Corolla of washing machines / dryers / refrigerators / ovens / dishwashers? I dunno. I could more easily tell you what not to buy based on what I get in. But I don't really keep track. Samsung accounts for at least 30% though. Very interesting thread. OP grats on the business. I enjoy reading about this type of thing. How did you get started? Did you have one of your own appliances break and then just decide to part it out only to find it profitable? Always curious how people stumble into new businesses. I started in appliance repair. But that shite sucked. I went through a contracting company that ate half the profits, and occasionally I'd get people who wanted to pay me to take their old appliances away because they didn't want to pay for the repair. After a few dozen major screw-ups, I decided the repair business wasn't for me, and by then I had already discovered that I enjoy taking things apart more than putting them together. Based. Someone like you saved me a new washer once. Either buy a whole new washer or this one single small part, probably worth cents, for $15. Still have it. Thank you, Anon. Any parts to sell off from a vacuum? I don't know. I've heard there might be, but I never imagined vacuums to be a repair item. Maybe I'm wrong. I literally fix my appliances, lol. Why get a new one when one part, especially if it's a cheaper one, will get it working again for another couple years at least? Super wasteful not to. Plus most normies can't afford to buy that shite with cash, so they're heckin' financing and paying interest on their new washer and dryer on top of it all. All the money, all the time, and yet I am so hollow. Just a loathsome scavenger whose only friends are computers, washing machine parts and abstract hand-built mechanisms with less purpose than myself. It's true I'd rather deconstruct than build, as I'd rather be a spectacle than a friend. Yet I still build, and yet I am neither. How long can this go on? LOL, you probably sold me the key to the laundry machine in my building I used to get free laundry. Good thread, friend. Are you like a master disassembler? I fix my own stuff and am curious about the learning curve to do this for money. How would you rate yourself against the average DI? You're absolutely this. You shift near anything parts to retail, you, inevitably, end up drowning in the shite. A garage would maybe last me a few weeks, if that. You got a spare aircraft hangar with racking though, can run a sweet business, maybe a year or so. Before that fills up, it's unavoidable. Keep it up, OP. You are creating a useful and valuable service that reduces useless waste of natural resources, helps people realize they have the skills to repair machinery, thus making them more confident and fulfilled. Keep fighting the good fight, friend. Super cool thread and super cool business. 40-hour work week. I'm out.